Billy and the Epic Escape.
Yep.
The sequel
Yep.
to the first book. Tell us a bit about this.
Oh, my goodness. OK, so this was never meant to be.
Yeah.
I never intended to do this. Book one was basically 14 stories that I... basically, because I've always struggled reading and writing, funny enough. I've always written my cookbooks on a dictaphone.
Yeah.
I used to put Petal and Buddy to bed, and when they got to about 8, their reading got better than mine. Yeah. And they go, no, Daddy, don't read, like, do one from your head. So then I wasn't very consistent about my narratives and stories, so I started to record them. So that's book one.
Right.
So it took 4 years to write.
And so they were just books, they were stories that you made up for the kids?
Yeah, and just off the top of my head. And, of course, when I put them together as a book, you know, I had to sort of get serious about writing, and it took me 4 years. Puffin published me, which was an honour and a responsibility, and it's more nerve-wracking than a cookbook, I swear. Like, this is the hardest work I've ever done editorially.
Because?
Because, right, as a dyslexic kid that did very badly at school, words and writing were my enemy. And as per all of my life, I've had to find different ways to get around problems and solutions. And I think that if you knew the kid at 17 that left school, or 16, and then I'm the second most published author in the country. Like, and I don't say that to be bullshit. It's like, if you saw that, then anything is possible.
Sure.
So in the book, I mean, it's kind of like the idea is the Goonies, set in 2024, harking back at 1980s. You've got a magical world where there's lots of kind of sort of thoughts about where we might be in 100 years' time with food and nature and environment. But these 5 friends that all have tricky troubles to get over certain things. So it's about friendship and, as parents, like values, like the wholesome stuff that you want to say to your kids, but they never believe you because you're their mum and dad.
Because I started reading this one to James, and then we got to the bit where he was dissecting the mole.
Yes.
And then I suddenly started to read, and you've got these amazing audiobooks of it as well. So I've stopped, so we can start from one, because the audiobooks, it features you, it features Jules, Dexter Fletcher, Jason Fleming.
Yeah.
Alfie Bowes is the giant in this one.
Alfie Bowes singing on as one of the giants. Mark Strong's in it. We've got incredible musicians like Tamzine and Benny Miles, who is a rapper. We've got incredible actors in there. But for me, as a dyslexic kid, the audiobook was first. And one of the things I had to teach myself was not to write a script, to write a book. And because I was seeing everything. So that was one of my struggles. But the audiobook, I wanted kids like me. I didn't read my first narrative book until I was, like, mid-30s. And I don't say that because I'm proud. It's just that I couldn't pull it off. I couldn't commit. I was asleep. The words are racing. So the audiobook for me was about how do you make it immersive. We were inventing sound effects, composing music, trying to, like... there's not much money in it for people, so please, can you be in the audiobook? Like, just try and make it... But, like, having... even my wife plays Abuna, Mum Abuna, who's a very... non-glamorous, hairy, warty, feisty fellow. So she was pleased with that role. But,
the kids involved as well.
Do you know what, River, the first bit in the audiobook, you're going to laugh, but River is a natural. He's got the most expressive voice. And I'm sure we'll end up somewhere in the arts doing something.
Were you directing, or did you get someone else directing? You go...
I did direct them because I didn't have a choice, but normally, like with my son Buddy, I can't direct him because I'm his dad and he's not having it.
He's not having it at all?
No.
But it's so interesting how you put so much importance on the audiobook because of the dyslexia.
Yeah.
And I was listening to an interview that you did, I can't even remember what it was on now, but you talked about it and you said one time you'd had a 10-year-old little boy come up to you and said, do you ever feel like you're worth nothing?
Worthless.
And he had dyslexia.
And I think, you know, never...
Now, it really upset me.
No, me too. And like with school dinners campaigns that I've done, you know, I've been through 15 education secretaries in sort of 17, 18 years. And I think if you've got a child, or if you were that child that struggled and you didn't fit into conventional learning, I can see you're getting emotional.
Yeah, it makes me so sad to feel that.
And last year, when I promoted the first book, I got emotional out of nowhere. And as a nearly 50-year-old adult, I'm like, what is going... I didn't expect that. But I think it's about when you're a kid, you want to fit in. And for me, you want school to be where anyone can flourish. And I think there's a lot of work to be done to make every child feel like they can contribute.
He also said, come back to me when you're 16 and I'll give you a job if you need one.
Yeah.
That's what I loved. But at the end of the story...
Well, I found food. Food saved me. Food saved that kid. And he hadn't found his thing yet. And, of course, many of us don't find our thing until later life.
So when you as you say, you're the second most sort of printed author in the UK, and usually it's cookery books. When you get feedback from kids on your novels, your children's books, Does that sort of resonate a bit stronger?
It's everything. Because I did my first kids' book signing, and a kid had read half of it in the hour-long queue. So he's like a genius. And I'm like, so that was amazing, and gave me like marks out of 10 by the time he got home on Twitter. But actually, what I did, inspired by that, was they're the audience, right? So I had 4 kid editors that I send manuscript to.
Oh, really?
To give me notes on.
Yeah.
And they were sort of saying more gadgets here, like, you know, more bodily functions here, like, you know, like we love this character, can we have more of that? So, you know, I think as a dyslexic and as someone that struggled at school, I am very much a sponge for everyone's opinion, and my job is to curate and edit that comes back. And even now, like, I just did an air fryer show, right? I would never have said that, but my job is to serve the need. And if 50% of people have got an air fryer, then I've got to do an air fryer show, so whether I like it or not. So I think, like, feedback's really useful. And I think in cookbooks I don't feel vulnerable, but here I do.
That's interesting.
And I quite like that feeling of being
yourself
almost
out there.
Yeah, definitely.
You mentioned not being able to direct Buddy. Buddy's following in your footsteps now, though.
Sort of, yeah. He likes to cook.
He's cooking. He's got his channel. He's doing. Yeah. Has he got a book coming out as well?
Yeah, he's got cooking buddies. Yeah, he's literally. He was a child here. Like, he's like 10. We started when he was 8, and now he's sort of like heading towards, you know, 5'10". Rugby, and like, you know, basically he sort of knows that he started. He's like, this is not cool, Dad. He goes, I'm going to get bullied, and I'm like, you won't, but I've seen the show. He's definitely going to get bullied. So the show's about swaps. So a kid comes in every show, and they do a hobby swap, and he teaches them a recipe, and it's nice. It's really about the other kids and the things that they love. But yeah, I'm sure he'll thank me for that when he's 20. Maybe not.
Well, it depends where it goes, doesn't it? That's the lovely thing. I mean, because you and Jules, I mean, it's a big year for us. We're all the same age. You're a bit younger than us.
Tiny.
We're hitting our 50s at the end of this year, and you're, I think, the start of next year. That's quite a moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I feel more passionate now than ever that how kids interact around food is really powerful for their long-term health, mentally, physically. We're still some of the most unhealthy kids in Europe. We still need to, you know, get school food sorted out. We need a government. We've got an election coming up. I was actually having a meeting with Keir Starmer tomorrow morning, but that's cancelled now. He's up to Scotland. But, you know, that was to talk about where are you placing child health? You know, how are we going to look at child health? And if you want a healthy country, healthy economy, if you want to save the NHS, you have to put kids first. And without getting into any of that, I'm completely apolitical. No governments in the past have put child health first on any manifesto. So this is going to be a really interesting couple of months.
It's an interesting couple of months and a couple of days.
I wish you'd go and stand outside on a lectern with the pouring rain and just take over a bit.
It would be a tasty place. Yeah, no.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Billy and the Epic Escape is out now. I can't wait for the audiobook. I'm going to go back tomorrow.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.